Hey everyone, and welcome to our YouTube channel. Before we get started, you have to... I'm just kidding. This is a little different for us, and we just want to let you guys know we really miss you, and we wish we could be with you in person and teaching you about music, but for the next few weeks, this will be us.
It's better than nothing.
So, we're going to tell you what we're going to be basically doing each week, and then we're going to be talking more about... Time signatures, which is our first lesson. So we're excited to do this, and
so every week we're going to be posting a video talking about a different lesson. We'll post those on Mondays, and then throughout the week we'll have different activities, games, videos, worksheets that you can work on.
And be ready for some fun videos maybe at the end of the week. Alright everyone, so our first lesson is going to be about time signatures. Now, one of the most common time signatures that we see in music is 4/4. Those two numbers have two different rules. The top number tells us how many beats are going to be in each bar or measure, and the bottom number tells us what note value will be for each beat. We're going to explain this more as we go on. Now, when we look for a time signature in music, it is on the staff, and it is always after the clef. Now, like I said, the top number tells us the number of beats in a measure. For this case, since it's a number 4, it's going to be 4 beats per measure. The bottom number tells us what type of note gets 1 beat. In this case, when we see a 4, it is a quarter note.
So, going along with our time signatures here, the top and bottom number can always change. Another frequently seen time signature is 3 beats in a measure, 3/4. So that would mean instead of 4 beats, we'd have 3 beats. And we have our example down here, Old MacDonald Had a Farm, is in 4/4 time, and it has 4 beats. Notice we have quarter notes get 1 beat each, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, and we rest on 4 at the end. There's different numbers that we can see in our time signature. Here's just a reiteration of where we have 4/4. But another way you can see over 4/4 is the C, which stands for common time.
And that goes with what I said at the beginning, where we usually see 4/4. That means it is a common time signature. So that's why they put C,
it's
common
the most
time.
Common time signature that you'll see. Back in the olden days, they had to handwrite everything, and it was way easier to write a C than it was to write 4/4. So they started using that. So you can see both of these in music. They mean the same exact thing. So looking here, we're going to try and figure out what the time signatures are for each of these examples. Now remember that we said 4/4 means top 4, there's 4 beats in a measure. The bottom 4 means that quarter note gets 1 beat. Now beats are different than notes. Let's look at example number 1 here. We have a half note, which gets how many beats, Mr. Holbrook?
That gets 2.
2 beats, correct. So we have 2 beats in a measure. We have, half note gets 2 beats. So we have 1, 2. Here we have 3, 4.
But I'm confused. There's only 2 notes in that measure, Mrs. Holbrook.
There are only 2 notes, and there can be only 2 notes.
As long as it equals to 4.
As long as it equals to 4.
Okay.
Yes. So looking ahead, this measure we have 1, 2, 3, 4. There's another 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And remember, rests do get beats even though they are silent.
Yes, they do. So we can, from counting out through here, we can determine that number 1 is 4/4. We got 4 beats in a measure. Okay, looking at number 2, let's see what we have here. So our first measure, we have a whole rest, which gets how many beats, Mr. Holbrook?
Whatever the time signature has.
Very good. Okay, and then we have our second measure. We have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and our dotted half note gets 3 beats. So I think we can deduce that number 2 has a time signature of
3/4.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
reason I said about the whole rest is because a lot of the times when we see a whole rest, we think of it being 4/4. But in this case, when we see a whole rest and the time signature that is asking, the whole rest will have only 3 beats. The whole measure is going to be silent.
Yeah, that the whole part of the whole rest comes into play in a different way there. So the whole entire measure is silent, so they put a whole rest there, even though we only have 3 beats in a measure. Number 3. Let's see what we have here. So we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then whole rest, which I'm gonna deduce means it takes up the whole measure. So I think here we have a time signature of
2/4.
Awesome. Okay, last one. This one looks interesting already
Yes, it
because
does.
we have a whole note,
Ooh.
which we know gets 4 beats. But we also have some more in this measure. So let's see. Okay, so we have 4, 5, 6, 1, 2,
3, 4,
5,
5,
6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So we have to do math and music.
We do.
They all work hand in hand.
Yes. And we can say that this has
6/4.
6/4.
So meaning 6 beats per measure, and the quarter notes will get 1 beat.
Okay. So we can also see other time signatures that don't have 4 as our bottom number.
Ooh, what
And remember
happens then?
that if the bottom number tells us what note gets 1 beat. So if we have a time signature that says 6/8 time, that means that our 8th note, one single 8th note, will receive 1 beat. Now, in 4/4 time, or any time signature that has 4 as the bottom number, usually this 8th note means it gets half a beat. But whenever you have 8 as your bottom number, like in 6/8 time, all note values are doubled.
So you're telling me in 6/8, the 8th note equals 1 beat, so I'm looking for 6 beats per measure.
Yes.
So that means I'm going to have 6 eighth notes in one measure?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Everything else is also doubled, so your quarter note, which we're used to only getting 1, is now going to equal 2.
2.
Your half note, which usually equals 2, is going to equal 4. Another thing that you're going to see here is a dotted quarter note. Some of us have seen dotted quarter notes more than others, but your dotted quarter note in 4/4 time usually gets 1.5 beats. If we have 1.5 pizzas, and Mr. Holbrook here has 1.5 pizzas, and we put those together, we're going to have 3 whole pizzas.
With pineapple on it.
Yes, and Canadian bacon.
And Canadian
That's the
bacon. That's our
best.
favorite.
And don't even judge us if you don't like pineapple on your pizza. 'Cause
We'll
it's
just eat it then.
Literally the best.
That's
yeah,
fine, just
we'll
hand it
eat
over.
yeah. Anyway, where were
We digress.
we digress. So, so your dotted quarter note is going to equal 3 beats. Your dotted half note, which usually goes 3, is going to be doubled to 6, and so on. So everything is doubled. So here we have our example of 6/8 time. Here they've taken your eighth note pairs and they've paired them in 3s.
Why would they do that, Mrs. Holbrook?
So we can read it better.
It makes it a little easier
It
to
makes
read.
it easier to read, otherwise it might get a little confusing. So, looking here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For your 6/8 time, we had 6 beats in a measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And your 8th note here received 1 beat. Another time signature commonly seen that has a different bottom number is your cut time. Cut time looks like this. It's a C with a line through it. It's different than common time because of this line that goes through it. And cut time, your half note is now going to receive 1 beat.
So it's going to sound like a quarter note?
It's going to sound like a quarter note, yes, because all note values are cut in half in cut time. So here's our example. This one's a little cluttered. There's a lot more words on, or a lot more beats on this one. But here's our time signature and cut time. So we have 1 and 2 and 1 E and a 2 and 1 and 2 and a 1 and a 1 and 2 and yes. So our high schoolers will be a lot more familiar with that there, but our 5th graders as well. You'll be able to read that, hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. Okay, so hopefully this has given you guys a better understanding of time signatures, and you know where to reach us if you have any questions. We also love videos, so if you're on your computer and you find really cool music videos, send them our way, because we'd like to look at those. And we'll talk to you later.
Bye.